Hi everyone, this is your friend Dr. Adegbite. So the breaking news today is that the Rivers State House of Assembly has presented a notice of impeachment against Governor Fubara and his deputy. Of course, the Speaker of the House took over the entire stage, leveling all manner of allegations against the governor. I'd like you to watch the video, in particular the House sitting today, and then I'll come back and give my take.
Distinguished colleagues, let me thank you so much for your contributions. In fact, I want to very sincerely thank you for rushing to the chamber when you got the memo from the clerk informing you that the House will be reconvening today. You cut short your holiday and your meetings with your constituents. Members, we were on recess and we had to call off this recess to serve the good people of Rivers State. I want to thank you very sincerely, very distinguished colleagues. You have indeed shown that you love Rivers State, you love your constituents. I thank you so much. Distinguished colleagues, the motion ably presented by the Deputy Speaker and the Honorable Silvanus Wanko, which is a motion to decline actions on the medium-term expenditure framework, MTEF, and the appropriation bill 2026 until investigations on the allegations of gross misconduct against the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State are concluded. This motion, I must say, going by what members have also commented, is actually a motion that is good and is in the best interests of Rivers State. 26 members of Rivers House of Assembly have brought allegations against the governor and the deputy governor. It is important that the process be allowed to go through in line with the provisions of the Constitution. And the particulars of gross misconduct have a lot to do with presentation of budget, refusal to present budget, spending outside the appropriation law. Distinguished colleagues, one thing very interesting is what members also indicated in that notice, but we're not here discussing the notice, but we're only making reference to it, which is that there is a notice and the process of impeachment is on as we speak. Having received the notice, my job is to forward it, and it's important that we allow this process go through. What this motion is saying is, in the event that the governor tries, as he has always tried to do, to be smart by half, to now say he wants to bring the appropriation bill or to present the medium-term expenditure framework, the movers of this motion are saying, let him hold on now. Let the process for the investigation of the allegations brought against him and the deputy governor be concluded. Distinguished colleagues, is that not what you are saying? Yes. So it makes sense too that we allow that process to go through before we start talking about any MTEF or even the 2026 appropriation bill. In any case, the governor does not even want to present any budget, because if he wanted to, he would have brought it all this while. Similar Fubara is a mistake. He is a mistake. Rivers State has never had it this bad. In the entire Nigeria, similar Fubara and Professor Ngozi Odu, these are the only two people in the office at the sub-national level that are yet to present 2026 appropriation bill. The entire country. I'm sure if you go to the entire West African sub-region or even Africa, you will not find any sub-national government that has not presented an appropriation bill for 2026. Who would believe that in this 21st century, that a state like Rivers State will not have an appropriation bill either presented or passed. Nothing is holding the governor for presenting it. He chose not to. And the governor has been boasting that he will always go and meet the president for the president to call us and give us instruction. He has been boasting, he has been saying it to his followers that this assembly, we are nothing but toothless bulldog. That this 10th Rivers House Assembly, we cannot do anything, we cannot enforce the constitution. This is a sad commentary for our democracy. Sir Nyesom Wike and Professor Mma Odo, they are nothing but a threat to our nascent democracy. If they are allowed to remain in office, I don't know what will become of our democracy. And they are moving about from place to place, spending taxpayers' money without approval. Part of what led to other efforts to impeach them, first impeachment effort, second impeachment effort, has to do with refusal to present budgets. Mr. President has called several meetings which we attended. Our leader, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, has called several meetings. I have attended meetings with the governor, and we have called on him, present the budget, something that is in line with the constitution. He says he will not. He's above the constitution. Nothing will happen to him. If he does not present it, he will meet the president, he will meet the National Assembly, they will tell us to leave him alone. And he has been boasting about this. Now I ask members, is it the right way to go to allow a governor not to obey the constitution, to continue to spend without approval? Even when we had an approval in 2023 for the governor to spend, the governor left the constitution, left the appropriation law of 2023 and started awarding contracts outside the budget. Particulars of his award letters, they are there attached. The governor spends, people coming from outside River State, he will change our naira to dollars and give to them and tell them to go and wait for assembly members and make sure they don't succeed to do anything to him. So in other words, what the governor is doing with our funds of Rivers people, the poor Rivers men and women who are paying taxes, is to change our money to dollars and be given to visitors to River State to stop us to subvert the constitution. For how long are we going to allow this to happen? Our schools are not furnished. Our schools are not functioning the way they should function. Rivers people are suffering. Our youth are not being employed. Our roads are bad. Our hospitals, health centers are not fully functional. A lot of them are having issues. Rather than follow due process, what the governor has decided to do is to save money, change it to dollars, to subvert the will of the Rivers people, to subvert the constitution. And he's boasting. Imagine the governor saying, the governor addressed the press rather and said, the only time that they should give him between now and the next 6 months before he will give account of or statement of account of Rivers people. Other governors are saying how they are receiving money, how much they received, how much they have spent since he became governor. Since May 2020, since May 29th, 2023, Nyesom Wike and Nyesom Wike were sworn in. They have never for once issued any statement of account of Rivers State. Not once. And the governor is boasting that they are going to call us and give us order not to follow the constitution. And people are going in the media, people that we respect, elders that we respect are supposed to call him to order. They are going to tell him that what he's doing is good. Rather than caution the governor for his infractions on the constitution, they are clapping for him. Rather than calling on the governor, they are calling on our FCT Minister, who is helping Mr. President in Abuja, and making it look like it's a problem between the FCT Minister and the governor. It is not FCT Minister and the governor. It is the governor and the constitution. The governor is a threat to our democracy. It is better we all resign and leave the governor and those he wants to use to defraud Rivers people. We cannot continue to allow this to happen. We sit here, elected people, and we cannot follow, we cannot enforce the constitution. Then why are we here? Why are we sitting here? Why were we elected? For how long are we going to allow this to happen? Distinguished colleagues, enough is enough. If they want us to forget the legislature, we leave the legislature. Let only the governor and the deputy governor spend as they like and eat our money and do as they like. Why were we elected? Why do we have the legislature? Why can't we be allowed to do our job? Distinguished colleagues, I thank you for your contributions. We will follow this impeachment process through. The Supreme Court has confirmed that the governor has committed offenses against the Constitution. Let the law take its course. The law has to take its course. Mr. President, we thank Mr. President. He's a father. Mr. President has done his best. Mr. President has spoken to the governor. In my presence, Mr. President told the governor, I'm giving you a second chance. The governor refused. He gave him another one. The governor refused. How many times would the Mr. President call us? Distinguished colleagues, I thank you for your contributions. Prayers have been properly canvassed by members. Those in favor of the prayers of this motion should indicate by saying ayes. Aye. Again, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, by this motion, this House hereby condemns the refusal of the Governor of Rivers State, Sir Nyesom Fubara, GSSRS, with support from the Deputy Governor, Professor Ngozi Mma-Odo, DSSRS, to present the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, and 2026 Appropriation Bill in line with the Rivers State Fiscal Responsibility Law 2010 and the Constitution, respectively, as well as their reckless spending from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of Rivers State. 2, this House is declaring that the House will not proceed with any action for presentation of the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, and Appropriation Bill 2026 until the investigation of gross misconduct leveled against the Governor and Deputy Governor are concluded. Distinguished colleagues, these are the prayers.
The first thing is this: the fact that members of the Rivers House of Assembly can again bring another impeachment proceeding against Governor Fubara shows how irresponsible the political actors in that state are. Recall that it was this same impeachment that plunged that state into a state of near collapse crisis that led to the president declaring a state of emergency, even though illegal. These lawmakers at that time were also attempting to impeach the governor, and in the course of that, there was a bombing that took place, and the president saw that as an opportunity to step into the situation, and he declared emergency rule in Rivers State. That lasted for 6 months, and within those 6 months, all the warring parties, from reports, they were called together, had a series of meetings, and agreements were reached here and there on how to rescue the state from this crisis and ensure that they are all able to work together in the best interest of the people of the state and to allow for governance to take place in the state. To imagine that the same lawmakers will return to this same tool of impeachment says a whole lot about the character of the political actors in that state. And one is not surprising because clearly one knows who is beating the drums for the current dance in the House of Assembly. As a matter of fact, the behavior of the speaker today, he acted poorly as an actor, even though he was given a script to act out. He did not do a good job in acting the script, because one could see that the same language that Wike had used severally to refer to Fubara was the same language that the speaker was using. At a point, he kept referring to Governor Fubara as a mistake, which of course is the same thing that Wike has spent the last 1 week saying in all of his thoughts from one local government to the other. And one could see the speaker visibly annoyed. Ordinarily, the speaker's business should be about legislative business. But one could see the speaker, turning the entire House chambers into a place for vituperations and calling of names. He kept lambasting the governor, lambasting the deputy governor, lambasting the governor, calling him all sort of names. It was a very indecorous behavior, to say the least. However, this is the truth, and that is my take on all of this. I've said in my previous videos that by now, Wike ought to have realized that he has lost out in this power play in this game. Obviously, this new card by the House of Assembly has all of Wike's signature over it. This is a puppet assembly being remote controlled by Nyesom Wike. There is no denying the fact that all of what is happening now is based on Wike's instruction. As a matter of fact, Wike is here to complete, is moving from local government to local government, and all of a sudden the House members see a need to impeach the governor, a need that they did not see towards the end of last year or a couple of months back. But this is the truth, like I've said in my previous videos. Wike is outdoing himself and would end up outdoing himself in all of this. Like they say, when a man is in a hole in the pit, he must learn to stop digging. But for Wike, that is not the case. He still continues to dig, assuming that that would get him out of the situation. The current power play between Governor Fubara and Nyesom Wike would only end one way. Clearly, there is a change now in the dynamics. When the first impeachment notice was served, a couple of months back, before the 6-month emergency rule, as at that time, Governor Fubara was a member of the PDP, yet he enjoyed, if you may say, some kind of help from the president, because many people have said that the so-called emergency rule was the president's way of rescuing Fubara from a possible impeachment. This time around, Fubara is now a member of the APC. He has been issued the number 001 in Rivers State. The big wigs in APC have been flocking to Rivers State to hobnob with the governor, to show that they are solidly behind him. The national secretary has spoken in his favor. The national chairman of the party has spoken in his favor. So it therefore means that the dynamics have changed. And as against the previous impeachment proceedings, this is not likely, to go the way of. As a matter of fact, this is not likely to go as far as the last one, because there are now more parties with an interest in the current crisis. The APC as a party has an interest in Fubara's survival as governor. President Tinubu has an interest in Fubara's survival as governor. So I'm trying to imagine how Wike thinks that he can overcome all of these forces in his bid to bring Fubara down. He must be joking and he must be deluded. I can say for a fact, I'm just hazarding a guess. If this process is not nipped in the bud, right from this very beginning, it is most likely going to go the way of what happened in the year 2015, I guess. That is the fact that at the end of the day, the National Assembly may have to take over the functions of the Rivers State House of Assembly, and that way the House becomes functions becomes incapacitated or is no longer able to function, and when that arises, who will be the loser? Wike obviously will be the loser. I do not see this process going anywhere. As a matter of fact, I think that this may just be the final straw, that will break the camel's back. And we all know who that camel is. It is no one else but Nyesom Wike. I just thought to offer, my take, my position on this latest move by Wike and his courts in Rivers State. As the events, unfold, we continue to engage the issues, and I can assure you I will bring you my take. Thank you for always joining me in this channel. If you are here to subscribe, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share. I'll see you in my next video.